Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I hope everyone is decompressing from SEMA if you went. I know we are. So thank you for joining us. Today, we are going to go over the products we featured in our new product showcase at SEMA. So we submitted 7 awesome new products that we anticipate will be really big in the coming year. And we're going to have our product engineers that actually develop the products go over this. So if you have any questions during the webinar, feel free to just put it in the Q&A or in the chat, and we'll try to answer them. So I'll hand it over to Mike, who's going to be presenting, and he could introduce our panel of engineers. So thank you.
Great. All right. Thanks, Terra. As always, appreciate everybody joining us today, and a special shout out to anybody who came by the booth during the SEMA show. Want to thank you for stopping by and chatting with us. It was very educational, informative, and today we got a lot to cover in a little bit of time, so I'm going to get into the introductions, and then we're just going to start firing away some questions. So first off, on our panel today, we do have Justin Schultz, Manager of Gamma Products. Got Mr. John Gray, Vice President, Exhaust and Exterior Products. Loc Nguyen, Application Engineer, Electrical Products. We got George Chang, Filtration Engineer. Gentlemen, how are you doing?
Good. Good morning. Good.
Everybody getting over their SEMA, post-SEMA hangover?
Yeah.
It's not from drinking. It's just from being out there and walking and talking 4 days a week. So it is a busy show. So guys, we had a lot of cool products that were out in our booth on display. We also had a couple vehicles in the booth. We had the BMW M2 as well as the LC300, and a lot of your awesome products were displayed and on exhibit out there. But let's jump in first, and we'll start out with some of the newer intakes that we had debuting out at SEMA. So let's jump in with start off with Justin. So Justin, we've got the, looks like we had the newer F-150 Raptor intake. I think it was the track series, if I'm not mistaken, it was the Kevlar. So that was a pretty good looking piece. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we had the blue carbon Kevlar intake for the Ford F-150 Raptor. That's a 17 to 24, so it's all the way to the current generation. That's for the V6 3.5. We had that one in blue carbon Kevlar. It's also available in the red carbon Kevlar and the black. Those all have Pro 5R filters, but they are black filters on the red and the blue version. And then we have the blue filter on the blue carbon fiber, and then the black Pro 5R on the red Kevlar and on the black carbon fiber. So a couple different options there, depending on what you're looking for. And then on the screen there, the one on the right is actually the Raptor R. So we also had the same color available in the Raptor R version there.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so yeah, what we're looking at on the shared screen here is the track series intakes as well as the Magnum Force. So these intakes are not just available in carbon fiber, but they're also available in roto-molded plastic, correct?
Yeah, correct.
And then the filter coloration, there is no difference between the black and the blue. They're both oiled. It's just a color.
Correct. Yeah, we just tried to pair them accordingly on the colors. So
color coordination is always nice, especially when you pop the hood and you want to show off your intake. What kind of gains did you guys see with these intakes?
So on the one for the 3.5 Raptor, for the ProDroid S, we saw 17 horsepower, 16 pound-feet of torque, and on the Pro 5R, it was slightly better at 18 horsepower, 17 pound-feet of torque, and both of those were close to 70% flow gains over the stock intake, so pretty good improvements there.
Okay, and so for those keeping score at home, intakes, we're not really making more power from the engine, we're giving it back from the stock intake, correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, with stock intake pulling from just the small opening in the front, is a little restrictive, so we're just making it easier to breathe there.
And larger filter, larger reusable, washable filters obviously help protect the engine and get more airflow too.
Correct.
All right. So are these new intakes for the latest gen F-150 Raptor? Are they available now? Are they shipping now? It looks like they are if they're up on the website.
So yeah, they're up on the web right now. The black version is shipping right now. The red and the blue will be shipping by the end of this month. So we're
Okay.
expecting, yeah, by week 48 here, those should both be available.
So if they're up on the website, it looks like they're kind of live. So meaning that you can place orders now, but they're shipping by the end of the month.
Correct.
Nice. Okay. So like most of our intakes, your engineering team and your design team create the intake so it's easy to install, so it's less parts. How easy is this one to install?
Yeah, if anybody's familiar with our Magnum Force intakes, it's going to be just about the same install. You might take a little more care with the carbon fiber when you're installing it, just not to scratch it, but it's going to be simple to install at home with, all the tools are provided that you need for the quick connect here on the screen, that little green tool. Everything else is going to be, simple tools that you'd have at home to be able to swap this out. So.
Nice. No, that's a great shot. I like that it's minimalist design. It's easy to install. I guess maybe we could incentivize it a little bit and throw in some microfiber gloves so you don't scratch that carbon fiber. Yeah, that's great. Nice work. Any other intakes coming up from SEMA into maybe Q1 of 2025 that you want to talk about?
From SEMA, we do have a couple other ones coming up for the GX 550, as well as the Toyota Landcruiser. We had the Landcruiser intake installed in the vehicle at SEMA. That one's going to be coming out pretty soon here too. So.
Okay. Excellent. And I just saw the dyno graph pop up on the shared screen real quick. And just as a reminder to everybody, we do all of our in-house testing, the before and after, just to prove that we're actually putting out some gains. It's not just another pretty intake to be installed there. How does this intake sound? What all the intakes that you've helped develop in the past with your teammates? What's your thoughts on like some of the feedback that you're getting engine sound from the EcoBoost motor?
I think the EcoBoost is kind of a tough one to get a lot of sound out of, especially trying to get it back out through the turbos there. Being an open top on this, it'll be similar to a Magnum Force. You'll get a little bit more of that turbo noise, but it's still pretty quiet on that truck.
Okay. So not a lot more sound. Like, let's say compared to a stock closed intake to a open Magnum Force, do you get any more engine sound?
Yeah, you'll definitely get more going from stock to this, but really from this to a Momentum, there's not a whole lot more, even though it's got that open top.
Right.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good.
But it's also easier to access to service it, which
right. Yeah.
A lot of people like that. So moving on to the other intake that you had in the booth on display, you had something for the new Tacoma, the 2024 2.4 liter. What can you tell us about that?
So yeah, that one's actually one of the new products that Christian's working on right now, and that one's going to be available by the end of the month as well. Made pretty good power numbers on that one. So the Pro Dry S was 11 horsepower, 12 pound-feet of torque, and the Pro 5R was 15 horsepower, 17 pound-feet of torque, and available in Pro Dry S and Pro 5R for those. So,
is that part actually shipping right now, or is that coming up?
End of the month. So yeah, week 48 as well. That one should be shipping. So.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at the install video Louis working on right there. Looks pretty simple, just a few pieces. Obviously, nothing really different on the install there. Can you tell us a little bit about the DOS scoop? I noticed on the factory there is a little bit of an air scoop that comes from Toyota. Is that something that we added?
Yeah, so there is this factory scoop that he's reinstalling right there in the video. Our intake is compatible with that because we do provide a trim piece that plugs part of that hole.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are going to be shipping by the end of December a larger scoop that will actually remove that trim piece, and it's got a more than double air into the air box. And then the other unique thing on that housing that you see is the side is open to the fender now, where the factory one is closed off. So not only are we using that front scoop from the factory, we're also pulling from the side of the fender. And then when you include the DOS scoop here, you're really up in the amount of air that you're getting into that air box.
Wow. So you guys really thought a lot about designing this updated intake and the scoop. Yep. So you got auxiliary air coming in, not only from using the factory mounted points, but also from your own.
Yep, and then you can see on that DOS, it's got a pre-filter material as well. So any large debris, leaves and bugs and stuff that would come from the front of the vehicle kind of get blocked out before they ever come in and hit the air filter. So that'll help extend the life of the filter as well.
So Justin, that's included with the scoop? Or is
that's included with the scoop, yeah.
Okay. And is the scoop going to be available with the intake, or is it going to be two separate SKUs, part numbers?
Right now, it's two separate SKUs. It's available separately. So the jobber price on that one's $88 for the scoop, a la carte, and yeah, that one will be available in December. So,
does the scoop work with the factory intake?
No. So the factory intake, if you look at the comparison between the two openings, the factory intake has a specific inlet there that only will work with that stock size scoop.
I see.
Ours works with both because we have a removable compression molded silicone piece that, when you're using the stock one, you install it, and then when you're not using it, you're using our DOS, you remove that, it takes up that whole opening. So.
And I saw the price point on there. It's pretty much in line with the rest of the intakes in that genre. But I guess when you add it up, if you're buying the intake and then the scoop separately, they're compatible. They work really well together. You're getting more air, cooler air. I don't see that it may add more horsepower, but I may see that it's probably going to add a little bit better mileage or more efficiency.
Yeah, it should add some flow. It's really hard to show horsepower on a product like that without really pressurizing the front grille on the vehicle. Okay. But yeah, that one, you should be able to notice something on the freeway when you're already at cruising speed and you have that rush of air. That's where you'll notice this. And then we are coming up. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, for anybody that's familiar with some of our older Toyota Tacoma intakes, in 2025, we'll be coming up with the larger scoop that will go across the entire front grille section. So that'll be the next addition to look out for on this one.
Okay, so you're going to adapt the width across the front.
Yep.
Just above the radiator or the core.
Yeah.
Nice. That'll be exciting to see that. Are those going to be available in different colors?
We'll have to see on that one.
It's kind of an inside joke, as you guys know, if you know the product, the DOS scoops. First, we start with just the basic black, but essentially they start to play around with different colors because we can do that since we do our own rotomolded development here in house. So that'd be interesting to see if we do offer some colors on that. So no, that's a really nice piece. I'm glad to hear that.
I think when we come out with the TRD Pro will be the next one, and I think that signature color already has the red in there. I think if the compatibility is the same, that's where we'll probably play around with those colors a little bit more on that too.
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes it look a little stock, but kind of sticking with that slightly modified appearance. Yeah. That's good stuff. So I noticed too that you were involved, and this is really your child or your kid project here, the DOS Snorkel for the 2018 to 24 Jeep JL, the V6 gas engine. So you want to talk about that new product?
Kind of see it here behind me, but Yeah, that one's been a long time in the making. Finally got it all dialed in, and we'll be shipping that one if everything goes well this week, if not early next week. And that actually fits the 4-cylinder and the V6 gas engines. And it's right now it's designed to work with the stock intake. It also pairs well with our super stock intakes. It will connect to the factory air box and replace the air filter with a drop-in inverted style air filter. But yeah, as you can see from the exploded view, still similar to our momentum philosophy, as few of components as possible. 3 easy pieces that get mounted, one to the cowl area for the riser, one to the air box, and then a runner section that kind of connects them in between. That's easily removable for any kind of maintenance or service or access to the fuses or anything like that.
Yeah, that's a nice piece. Again, few parts, looks like there's not a lot going on there, but it does a lot. So I'm going to ask a silly question. What's the snorkel for? I mean, who is that? Who's the user here? I got a Jeep. I'm not fording rivers left, right, and center. What's the purpose of the snorkel?
Yeah, I mean, the snorkel's really got 2 primary purposes. So pulling air from up high where it's a little cleaner and cooler, keeping it out of the dirt. You don't want to ingest any kind of dirt into the engine or intake there. So prolonging that filter life, as well as, like you said, water crossings, because there are a lot of people that do that or might encounter it and just want to be prepared. So that's really who this is for. Anybody that's planning to do any kind of water crossings like that, or you might just be following somebody on a long dusty trail for a long time. Like our friends in Australia were always talking about that, kicking up that red dust, and you're following somebody and they have to keep switching the order so they're not following them for too long and clogging up their air filter. So that's where you would want something like this. So you're picking up air from a cooler and a cleaner environment.
So when you're in a group or a caravan of folks on the trail, for the guy up front saying "eat my dust,"
Yeah.
You're getting a little bit more. You're getting the clean air. You're not getting all the low debris that's coming off the tires and from undercarriage in the car in front of you. That makes sense. I like that. Okay. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of water crossings. It just seems like it's not a great idea for a lot of reasons, especially electrical or fuel. But yeah, I see the need and definitely the purpose. So some of these snorkel apparatus, they do require cutting the fender or cutting the hood. How easily is it to install this DOS snorkel?
Yeah, so that was part of our challenge here, was not to cut or drill holes or do anything like that on the sheet metal components. So we did try to preserve that as much as possible. There is one piece on the cowl support. It's a removable plastic trim piece that you'll have to cut a real small, like 1 inch by 2 inch section out of. But that is a replaceable piece. So if somebody wanted to, pull this off, go completely back to stock or whatever, they can just reinstall that piece, or if they want, they can replace that piece.
Okay, so it's a reversible install. Once you put it in,
Yeah.
and you change your mind later, you don't have to go out and bondo a patch or a hole in the metal because you didn't touch it. And the part that you did have to trim is an interior insulation piece.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Simple. Nice. Is that part available now? Is it shipping now?
So yeah, we're trying to get it shipping by tomorrow, or like I said, probably first thing next week. So
Nice.
that'll be shipping pretty soon here.
Wow. So you got this one for the Jeep. Where's the 4Runner?
Yeah, we've got some more planned for 2025, so I would keep an eye out for those.
All right. This year or next year?
For 2025. No more releases for this year, 2024 on the snorkels, but yeah, we'll definitely have some more coming for 2025.
Excellent. All right. Well, you've been busy, dude. That's just a couple intakes and a snorkel. I know you got lots of other stuff that was out there at the show, but again, kind of pressed on a little time. So I'm going to move right on to to Loc. We got Nick here, electrical, new products in engineering. And we also had the pedal to metal out there. And for those who are not familiar with that name, it is a new brand name that aFe came out with. And this is a throttle enhancer. So Loc, why don't you tell us a little bit about the pedal to metal?
Yeah, so our pedal to
I'm
metal.
sorry, that's a Scorcher Plus coming up there. Let's take a look at the pedal to metal. Go ahead, Loc. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so part number is 77-20005. So this is our new product that's coming out to market. Should be shipping in about 3-4 weeks. It's pretty much a throttle enhancer. I don't like calling it a throttle controller because you're not, everyone can control the pedal with the foot, but what the enhancer does is that it tailors to your driving experience, how you want the truck or your car to respond to the way that you drive every day. And by offering a lot of different modes to tailor to how you want to drive that day, that's what sets us apart. And the best thing about it is that it is very small and inconspicuous. So fits in the palm of my hand here.
Wow.
And it's about 5 minutes install. All you have to do is connect it to your gas pedal.
So the
And
throttle
off you
enhancer,
go.
for those of you kind of like not sure that joined us today, what a throttle enhancer does, can you give us a quick tutorial on that, like pedal lag and drive-by-wire?
Yeah, so any car after pretty much the 2000s, you don't have a cable controlling your gas anymore, your throttle plate anymore. Everything is done electronically through your ECU. So what we aim to do is to intercept that signal from the gas pedal going to the ECU and actuating the throttle opening at a certain percentage when you step on the gas. So layman's terms, what it does is that it doesn't make your car faster, but it makes it quicker. That's how I like to point it out. 10% of your gas pedal can give you about 80-90% of your throttle plate opening. So you accelerate faster.
So this
You can get there a
basically,
little quicker.
so this improves or gives you better throttle response.
Right. Better throttle response. We also have different modes for economy mode. That's what we call it, to make it a little bit less sensitive. It's also good for new drivers in the family. So if you have a 16-year-old child with a permit and they get in your truck and drive it off, you can dumb down the pedal a little bit more and make it more conducive for learning.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at on the shirt screen here, we got a connector, a harness, and the device. So everything's included for this plug and play install?
Yes, so there is no switch involved. There's no physical switch. We aim to do this only by Bluetooth, so on your smartphone. So only you can control it if you have the app. App is included, free of charge. That's on both Android and Apple. So it's available on the Android, the Google Play Store, and iOS Store. And if you don't have the app, then you can't change the settings. So again, somebody gets in your car and drive it off. They don't have the option to make your gas pedal more sensitive. Only you can do that.
And so there's 5 driving modes. So you mentioned that there's like a standard mode or good, better, best, or
Yeah, so we have we start with economy, which is going to be fuel saving. Your throttle is a little bit slower to respond versus stock, but at the end, it'll end up saving some gas mileage there. Then of course we have stock, then we have street, and then performance mode, and then race mode.
wow.
So
Okay.
yeah, so a little bit for everything for everyone here.
Nice. And that you said that's shipping soon?
Yes, so we're polishing the app right now. That should be getting pushed out to the iOS store within 3 weeks, and then we can ship from there.
Wow. So we had it out at SEMA just in time to get it to ship out before the end of the year. That's excellent. Looking forward to seeing that. So application wise, does this device fit certain applications, few applications?
So with the initial release, we're looking for 6 different SKUs. So we're gonna have all the major ones: Toyota, Ford, Chevy, and Ram. Those are the ones we're pushing for. The one that you guys are looking at right now, the 20005, that goes to our most popular application, which is for the Jeep and the Ram.
Okay. But I see here on the application chart, it looks like there's more than just the Jeep.
Yep. So also fits the Colorado, the Canyon, of course the Gladiator, and then and the Titan, the Nissan Titan.
Okay.
Yep.
So looks like a pretty simple device to install. You get better throttle reaction. You can set it the way you want to set it via your mobile device. So once you install it and you have it in your vehicle and you're kind of messing around with it, any chance of a check engine light, or let's say you get your vehicle serviced at the dealership, is there going to be a warranty issue or anything like that?
For the check engine light, the only thing you have to do is pay attention to the orientation of the connectors. There's a male and a female on our end, and it needs to plug in into the stock connectors accordingly. It's pretty hard to mess it up. But
Okay.
let's say you left a connector open and you turn on your truck, then yeah, you will get a check engine light. But that's easily remedied by a couple of key cycles, and it'll go away on its own once the issue is fixed.
So if anybody experiences a problem with it, it's want to check your work, make sure you installed it correctly first and foremost.
Right.
Okay.
As far as warranty wise, again, the unit is so small, it's gonna install right under your driver's side kick panel. Approximately where your gas pedal is. So unless you go looking for it, nobody would know it's there. There's no switch. So
Nice.
Nobody's gonna be pressing your switches and see what it does, right?
So it's kind of non-detectable, and you can just set it and forget it. Where the other units, they've got a switch that somebody might see and kind of chase after that and question it.
Exactly.
All right, so that's good to know. I mean, that's really looking out too for aftermarket, because dealerships, more and more are looking for excuses not to warranty stuff on cars. So I really like the fact that it's inconspicuous. So does the pedal to metal, does it work with other mods in the vehicle? Like if it's, let's say it's got a tune or maybe another device?
Yeah, absolutely. Different tools for different jobs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's just for your gas pedal. It doesn't add horsepower or torque. So if you have one of our Scorcher GTs or Scorcher Blues or HDs on your vehicle, they work together. They don't interfere with one another.
Okay, so they're user friendly and compatible with other mods.
Right.
Awesome. And what's the price point? Let me share the screen real quick, see where we're at on the web.
So
Nice.
price point, we're very competitive with this pricing. For a jobber is $254.
Okay. And that's going to be shipping towards the end of the month. You're just working on the app. Okay.
Right.
Awesome. I'd like to see that display, before. That'd be good to see on the website as well. So I'm pretty sure once you get closer to release time, we'll get more information up on the website. But that's a very good unit. How does it compare to like other throttle enhancers that are out there?
So other throttle enhancers, what they aim for is just to intercept the signal, and they don't tune it at different speeds or at different RPMs that the engine's putting out. On ours, we strive to make it so that it's smooth, so you get a smoother shift. Your RPMs are not going to go crazy trying to find the right gear for you to be in. So we tune all that out, and then at the end we give you as many modes as possible. That way you get the most for your money.
Cool. All right, looking forward to seeing that. Moving along, we've got Mr. George Chang. Came out with a couple new products out there at SEMA this year. First, I want to kind of point out that you know, getting ready for SEMA is not just about getting the booth and building the cars, but these guys work day and night tirelessly to get some of these products, you know, even in their prototype stages, in their infancy stages, out there to the public. And to be at SEMA and to have all these units or these new products, it's a lot of work. So hats off to you, gents, for you know, doing another excellent year and another job of developing new product. So George, why don't you tell us a little bit about one of the products you came out with? Looks like you did like an underdrive pulley or supercharger pulley for the Hemi.
Yeah, it's basically a smaller superchargers pulleys. The main purpose for them is basically it increases the rotational speed by reducing the pulley diameter, which will allow more air to be forced into the engine, making more horsepower. Typically with this with the smaller pulleys, there is power gains anywhere between, it's hard to say, it's probably like around 30, you can go between 30 and 70 horsepower, because it's going to be very dependent on what the engine has and the type of tuning that you have to do with the engine. So given a specific power number on a size pulley, it's very hard to give out.
Okay.
But yeah, it's basically we're just giving the one that we displayed, it was the 79-1009. It's that's the smallest pulley that we have available, which is the 2.5. We have different sizes. We go from stock, which is a 3.35 inch, all the way down to the 2.5. We offer 5 different sizes. It goes all the way from like the amount of boost increases posted on each pulley, which it goes from like 1.5 to 3, 4.5, 6 pounds, depending on the sizes. And then the tuning is required for most of the pulleys. Of course, on the stock size, you don't require tuning on that. The next size down, we kind of like recommend tuning to be done, but the stock ECU should be able to compensate for the 1.5. It's about, like I said, it's 1 pound to 1.5 pounds of boost that you get, so it should be able to compensate for that. But we always recommend tuning, because we don't want you to lean out the engine and have issues. And then any of the other pulleys, the smaller ones, are actually, we do recommend tuning for that. So
the one you had out at SEMA, the 2.5 you started talking about, is that come with, it looks like it's a complete kit. It comes with the pulley and the hub.
Yes, they come completely. It's a pulley, a hub, the hardware, which it's some washers and screws, and it also has like a Loctite in there when you're putting the hub in place. So it comes with everything needed. The only thing that it does not come with is a belt. Okay. The belt, when you go with the smaller sizing pulleys, depending on the size of the pulley that you put in there, it's going to require a different size belt, and that is also posted on the web page, telling you what size belt you will require depending on the pulley.
Okay, so the belt is not included, but it does require.
Yeah, because most people tend to have a preference on belts on the manual, so it's kind of hard to give a belt to, you know, like if we come up with a belt, give it to them. They tend to be very specific on what belts they want to use.
Right. Is this kit specifically on the 2.5 inch diameter? What kind of gains did you guys see with that?
Like I said, we're actually doing some testing with we got one of the customers that he is actually getting the car set up and tuning for it, because the tuning is different per vehicle. So you can put a 2.5 inch pulley on a stock engine and then one that's fully modified. So it really tends to they respond differently. So it's hard to give a number. Anywhere that you look, they're not going to be for pulleys. They're not going to give you horsepower, because it's very depending on modifications to the engine and how the tuning is done, because every tuning is going to be different. None of them is going to be the same.
Okay. So it basically increases the boost of the supercharger, but it varies on how much power gain you're going to see.
Yes, and like I said, you can go from mild, like you can like 20 to 30 horsepower. You can if it's tuned correctly, depending with whatever engine modifications that you have, and the 2.5-inch pulley, you can actually get it up to from what I've seen, it's like around 70 horsepower, 70, wow. Yeah. So you can do some good, you can get good power out of it.
Well, I mean, if you're dealing with like the Red Eye or the Hellcat Demon engines, they've already, with the Supercharger, you're already cranking out 600-700 plus horsepower, yeah. And you're talking about just swapping a pulley and possibly getting another 10%. That's
yeah. You're I mean, if depending, again, this depends now on which engine you put it on, because you got the two different superchargers. You got a 2.7 liter, right, and you got a 2.5, I believe was the regular Hellcat.
Yes.
So you can actually, on the Red Eye, you could be over the 1,000 horsepower. Wow. With and not just a pulley. What I'm talking about is when it's fully modified.
All in. Yeah,
because the tuning does a lot. The pulley is giving you the boost and the flow into the engine. The tuning is what's gonna mix up and actually get you all the the power in there.
Right. Got it. Okay. Wow, that's an intriguing product, and all for under $300. That's not a bad deal. So on the non-power gain side of new products, you got the Blade Runner GT series, the Supercharger coolant expansion tanks. Looks like you have a couple of those available that were out at the show. But why don't you tell us a little bit about what the purpose of the expansion tank, what it does, and what makes it, what's the improvement there? What's the benefit?
Well, for the expansion tanks, it's more of on the stock ones, you tend to have the plastic tanks that over time they'll kind of yellow and kind of like it's an eyesore, or they tend to crack.
Yeah.
So this is mostly to replace that and also improve the appearance in the engine bay. You get a race look. It had some benefits to that. It's also, I mean, it's made out of aluminum instead of plastic. It's 1/8 thick aluminum, and it's TIG welded for strength. And then also comes with billet fittings and connectors. And it has that finish look that it's a brush finish look to it with the aFe logo. Now, if they want to upgrade that, if a customer wants to make their own specific engine look a certain way, we've had some people that would get like the aluminum parts like this, and actually they can strip it and re-anodize them, or powder coater, paint it their own color so it matches whatever it is that they have their vehicles. If they have a color scheme, if you want to, if they want to make it red or blue, whatever color it is, so they have the ability to do that compared to a plastic piece. Other benefits on that is the capacity. You're improving the capacity on the for the expansion tank for the supercharger. That one is about a 10% increase of capacity increase, and for the regular expansion tanks for the radiator side, it's about 15%. So you get more capacity in that sense. There's also a nice feature that it has a clear sight tube, so you can actually check for the fluid levels, and it's visually, you can actually nicely see it. Instead of the plastic ones, you actually kind of have to take a look at the side, and make sure that you're able to see the fluid through the little line. So it's nicer. It's more like in your face, so you can actually see it easier.
Yeah. I see the clear tube on there, so you can see the fluid in.
Yeah, and it has there's a nice etching in there that tells you where the fill line is, the range, and you can actually see it being clear too, and you can see the fluid. It's going to be it's a lot easier to see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just the part itself looks 10, 20 times better than the stock plastic tanks that I see under these hoods.
Mhm.
But also, obviously, the aluminum is not going to degrade like a plastic piece, a
Yeah,
plastic tank, like you mentioned,
yeah.
and cause leaks or,
It
you
won't
know,
crack.
cause
Yeah, it
stain.
won't crack. It won't change in colors. It's
Yeah.
just, yeah. And then also because it's kind of the whole plastic piece tends to be it yellows, and the other thing is the residue of the coolant in there. You'll
Yeah.
see like it looks like old rusted in the inside. It just looks bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Aesthetically, this is
yeah.
a much better looking piece. And are these shipping right now?
Yes, they are.
Okay, so they're available and they're
Yeah.
shipping right now. You said it's 1/8 aluminum welded. Are these all
Yes.
hand welded or robotic welded or?
TIG welded. Actually, no. We these ones are actually hand welded.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
some jewelry right
Yeah.
there.
So
It's very nice.
we got some good people, some good welders. If you
Yeah,
can see the finish look on it, it's you you got to have a special touch for that.
yeah. This should come in a nice shiny box too, because it's almost like the presentation of this product
Yeah.
is definitely above and beyond. Great work, George. George, it's just yeah, those are really nice looking pieces. I know a lot of people get excited about that stuff. There's a lot of other uh, parts that are out there that are available, comparable parts, but I don't think they're hand welded. I don't think there's meticulously made as well as these parts that I'm looking right now on the screen. So good job. Do you have any other applications coming up on the pipeline? It looks like you have
Uh,
Mopar covered.
Future applications are we're looking at the F-150s,
Mhm.
at that 3.5 EcoBoost, at the also at the 5 liter natural aspirated, and the Raptor R with the 5.2. And
Wow.
the other ones will be the Ram 1500s with the um, TRX and the new 3 liter Hurricane engines.
Wow. And I think that TRX is really going to take off as well as the Hurricane. Those are some nice pieces. All right. Looks like we got a little bit of time left, so we're going to squeeze in John Gray. Um, so, John, you've been busy, obviously, with a lot of exhaust components over this past year, 2024 and beyond. But lately, you've been kind of working a little bit more on the exterior accessory side. As it's showing out at SEMA this year, you had a lot of product, not just exhaust related, but you obviously had the steps, the sliders, the light bars for some of the vehicle applications that are more prone for overlanding. You want to talk about some of the parts that you had out at this show?
Well, the first ones we did were the rock sliders and steps for the Subaru Outbacks. We introduced those last year early, or actually late last year, and started putting them into stock early this year. Basically, what you're seeing there is the step that we started out with because we wanted to gain access to rooftop storage. That seems to be becoming a big deal. A lot of people are putting rooftop storage pods on their vehicles. So accessing those can be a little difficult for a normal sized person, maybe not Mike, but for the average person, especially if you put a lift on your car or you have heavy stuff in your storage, putting a suitcase in a pod can be difficult to get, especially if you're standing in the rocker inside the door there. It can get pretty slick. So the steps and the sliders really work to give you a safe place to stand. So we started out with that. Then we took that to a rock slider. Basically, the way the steps were designed, it gave us really nice protection on the rocker panel.
Mm-hmm.
So we took that into a rock slider, and we have applied for a patent for the way it's attached.
So what we're looking at right now is we're looking at the rock slider because you can tell by the tubular framing that you have on there, that is to protect more of the rocker, the body of the vehicle. And there was a picture there of you standing on it or just accessing it. So these are not a factory piece. They look like a factory piece. They look like something that Subaru should have been putting on these vehicles in the first place, but obviously there is no place to safely step on those vehicles.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, if you stand in the door jamb area, if it's wet or in foul weather, it's slick. So these work really well for as a step, but as a slider, we ended up making them out of a heavier gauge material. So we went to 1/8" gauge, or 1/8" thick steel plate on the bottom, and then an 1/8" wall, 1.5" tubing on the outside. So you can basically go off-roading and not damage your rocker panel or your doors by any of the rocks or anything that you may get into.
And the video that we're kind of seeing right now shows the installation process. You touched a little bit about putting a patent on the install process. Can you tell us a little bit more about the installation of the parts?
Well, what we did is there's a plastic cladding that goes on the side of the vehicle. We remove that, and then the holes that cladding snaps into, we install a rib nut into those holes. We supply the rib nuts, the tool to install it, and as you can see, we've got a couple of videos showing how to do them, so the average person can do it. So it goes on pretty easy and looks like it belongs on the car.
Yeah, I was saying earlier, it does look like something that the factory should have probably included on there in the first place. So this looks like about a 2-person job to make it pretty easy. Does it require any special tools or mods?
No mods. The tool, we supply a tool, but you can also get a rib nut installer if you want. But we actually supply a simple tool that we've found works really well. So we've been pretty happy with it.
It looks pretty easy. I mean, just looking at the video, this little section right here, but if anybody wants to take a look at how the install is, you can find it on aFe's YouTube channel. John walks you through the whole process of removing the stock cladding and then using those stock locations. So yeah, so there's no modifications that I can see. They look like you'd probably be helpful if you had a buddy over, offer him a beer or two, and get those rib nuts replaced in the mounting points, and then just install away. So do these pieces, the steps or the sliders, do they reduce the ground clearance? You know, because if you're leveling or lifting your vehicle, you want as much ground clearance as you can get. Does it?
We actually increase the ground clearance on the way that we've designed these. They basically wrap down around the pinch seam.
Mm-hmm.
And they're about 1/4 inch below the pinch seam, but then from there we taper up and give you a lot more clearance on the outside. So if you're going to hit anything, you're going to hit right at the bottom of it that is very strong, the way we bent the plate around the pinch seam. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, it looks like it's a lot stronger than the pinch seam or the factory body panels. So how long does the install take, roughly?
Well, for the average guy, it's probably going to be a couple of hours. I've done it by myself in about 40 minutes for both, but wow, because I've done quite a few of them. But I have talked to several people that have installed them, and they've done them by themselves. It usually takes, maybe 2 to 3 hours to do it.
So it's a good DIY product, but if a shop wanted to carry these or install or offer these, they can easily book in a couple hours of shop time, which that's a profitable margin right there on top of the product itself.
Right, and especially if they've installed one set, they're
Yeah.
gonna know how to do it. And we actually offer them for um from the 2010 Outback to the 2025 current Outback.
Oh, yeah, you beat me to it. I forgot. I was going to loop back around and go, what do these actually fit? So you've got the Subaru Outback, at least 2 or 3 gens, right?
3 gens, yes.
3 gens of the Outback, including the most current one, and then going back 2 more gens. Do these sliders and steps fit all trim packages?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
awesome.
And we also, well, we introduced the Crosstrek as well, which is a rock slider.
Okay, and I
It can be
see.
used as a step as well.
Nice. I've seen that
So,
car before. I think somebody here owns one of those.
yep.
You might want to get her a bumper guard. Just kidding. Anyways, so you got the Crosstrek, the Outback. Also at the show, you had the Bronco. We had the new Bronco out on display with their slider steps. Those are magnificent looking. You a lot of attention to detail. I like the design on it. I know there's other brands that are out there, but man, I think ours, the others pale in comparison to this. These look like they were designed for the Bronco, and they have a nice flair to them, if you will. But it's really for functionality.
Yeah, we with the success that we had with the Outback, we wanted to do something with the Bronco, or start taking that to the SUVs and truck market. So since we were going to have the Bronco and the Landcruiser at SEMA, we decided to do those first. They'll work as a rock slider and a step. And again, we made them out of 1/8 inch wall tubing with a plate on the top that will attach to it. It bolts in, so it can be painted with a heavier texture to give you a little bit more grip when standing on it. Then the outside is a lighter texture that we do. We feel like it looks a little bit better having the contrast.
Yeah, no, these look great. And you also had some on the LC300.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. This was the Bronco, and then the LC300. We did something. They all have the same look. We did a little bit of a kick out at the back. We feel it gives you a little bit more area to stand on, especially if you're off-roading and you need that extra traction of somebody standing on it. They can get a better footing.
And how easy are these to install on the Bronco and the LC?
They all use existing holes, so there's no cutting, no fabrication required, no drilling. They're fairly easy. Again, 2 people, because they are a little bit heavy, is definitely preferred. I installed the ones on the Bronco myself, and they weren't too bad. The Landcruiser, it's a little heavier because it goes to the frame. So 2 people is kind of required, but everything has utilizes factory threaded holes, stuff. There's no nutserts or anything that need to be used. Nothing on these. Go right to the factory holes.
Are which parts of these, or which applications are shipping right now?
Both of these will be shipping by the first of the year.
So the Bronco, the LC300, they're not shipping right now, but we're taking orders and they'll be shipping at the beginning of 2025?
Correct.
Okay. And then as far as the Outback stuff, the Subaru products, those are shipping right now.
The Outback parts are shipping now. They are in stock.
Okay.
The Crosstrek will be in stock in about 4 weeks. And then again, the Bronco and LC will be by the first of the year.
Excellent. Wow, you've been busy. Any new exhaust products that you want to quickly plug right now?
Well, I'd like to plug the bull bar that we did on the LC.
Okay.
That's
right. Yes.
Yeah, we were looking for a light bar
Yeah.
for the Landcruiser,
Yeah.
and we decided to make our own and came up with a more of a bull bar light bar, so we can put basically as many lights as you want on it. We do have attachments for 6 lights
Mhm.
on it. The
And this is
LC 250.
is this the 300 or the 250, or they fit both?
It's the LC 250.
Okay. Does this front bumper, is this available right now, or is this
It
coming
will be
in?
available again by the like the other parts by the end of the year. First week in January.
Yeah, I saw this. I didn't get to see it in its infancy stage, but I saw it first time at the show in the booth, and it looked like a factory piece, or it looked like something that should have come on the Toyota LC to begin with. But what I liked about it is that you put some design features in there that really set off that tie in with the rest of the vehicle, but also that it's kind of hugs the front bumper. It doesn't stick out, and reduce the footprint or increase the footprint of the vehicle. It just looks very, very clean and sanitary, and obviously it's very functional. So that bumper is coming out by the end of this year. Are you working on any other light bars or bumpers for other
We'll be
vehicles?
we'll be looking at the Tacoma next. Kind of blends in with the Landcruiser, probably a similar design. Where on the Landcruiser we basically attach where the factory tow hooks mount, so we were able to move the tow hooks out about a foot, so they're a little easier access than where the factory tow hooks are.
Mhm.
So more than just the light bar and a push bar, we added the shackle mounts and made it a little easier access.
Nice. So those can be used as a towing point, like a recovery point.
Correct.
Awesome. Okay. Guys, we're really cutting it close on time, so sorry to cut you off, John, but we got to get going. We got a lot of catching up to do post SEMA. Gents, thanks again for the time. Really appreciate all the intel. Tierney's here back with us to do some housekeeping. Tierney, can you hear me now?
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, thank you everyone for attending. And I just want to let everyone know that all of these webinars and product education videos are on our dealer site. So to get there, just go on our website. You could scroll down to dealers, our aFe dealer support site. Oh, I think that took my screen away. Sorry. But it's also dealer at afepower.com. Let me share my screen again if this works.
There it is. Yeah,
Can you see it?
It kind of came and went. So it's
Okay.
dealer.afepower.com. If you go to the link there, and if you click on the dealer support, you'll see that page before it disappears again. And then you click around, you'll see different options there for product information. If you're interested in becoming a dealer, you can fill out one of the forms there, and our sales reps will get in touch with you, contact you for qualifications, and give you all the information and discounting. And if not, then obviously we can put you in touch with one of our great distributing partners throughout the U.S. and globally. So Tierney's showing right now on our YouTube channel and on the page the product information videos that we've had in the past, the webinars. Also want a quick plug, I just got a note here, we will be at PRI this year. It's going on in Indiana. That's December 12th to the 14th, booth number 2707. I was ready for this one this time, not like the SEMA one. But yeah, so if you're going to be going out to Indiana for the PRI show, December 12th to the 14th, look for aFe booth number 2707, where we'll have some of these new products that we had at SEMA, as well as some of our other manufacturing capabilities to educate those who are in attendance. So again, everybody, thanks for your time. Thanks for joining us today. And as always, if you have any questions or suggestions, please get them out to us. We definitely enjoyed the feedback out at SEMA. We were pleasantly surprised that a lot of people came to the booth and mentioned these webinars are very helpful. And hopefully with that, we can keep them going and make them stronger, better, faster. So again, everyone, thanks for your time today. And thanks for joining us, and enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Yeah.